When I first went and met Bradley, and I'd never known Bradley before, working with him, and I lay that all on Bradley. It's really a film for the time. It's a first-time venture for him as a director, and he was just brilliant, as it turns out, as a director. Sam Elliott. A name etched into the memory of audiences with the towering silhouette beneath a western sunset. A voice deep as an echo from the abyss, and eyes that seem to carry a lifetime of storms. On screen, he is the unyielding cowboy, the warrior who never backs down. The man of few words, each one cutting like a blade straight to the heart. But behind that stoic exterior lies a story marked by unhealed fractures. The loss of his father at 18 when he was still just a boy, dismissed as delusional. For dreaming of becoming an actor. The quiet years spent in the shadows of film sets. Just a blurred face in the crowd listening to applause meant for others. And the casting couch propositions he turned down, knowing full well the price might be his entire career. In a noisy Hollywood, where love stories often end before they truly begin, he has sustained a marriage of more than 4 decades with Catherine Ross. A romance sparked by a quiet glance and nurtured by a rare kind of perseverance. Elliott's career is proof of the power of patience. His life a testament to the value of loyalty. The story of Sam Elliott is not just that of a successful actor. It's the portrait of a man who lived fully in his truth, in work, in love, and in the way he weathered every storm without losing himself. And the deeper you go into his life, the more you realize those resolute eyes have witnessed far more than he's ever spoken aloud. And perhaps that is the most painful part of all. Early life. Sam Elliott was born on August 9, 1944, at Sutter Memorial Hospital in Sacramento, California, into a modest yet strictly disciplined family. His father, Henry Nelson Elliott, was a predator control specialist for the U.S. Department of the Interior. A job fraught with danger, demanding toughness to the point of harshness. His mother, Glennie Sparks, had once been a state-level diving champion and later became a high school physical education teacher. Both sides of his family traced their roots back to El Paso, Texas, a land where the Western spirit ran deep and where stories of ancestors included a military doctor who fought in the Battle of San Jacinto. Sam's childhood began in Sacramento, surrounded by golden summer days and early mornings when his father would return from long hours tracking wild animals. But that home was not always a peaceful haven. His father was a man of principles, quiet, hands-on, devoted to stable work, and skeptical of dreams. Sam, in contrast, was an introspective boy with a vivid imagination, captivated by the films shown in the town's small cinemas. By the age of 9, he was already nurturing what many would call a far-fetched dream to become an actor. When Sam was 13, the family relocated to Portland, Oregon. The overcast skies and seemingly endless rain there only deepened his quiet nature. He was not a standout student, not the football captain, not top of the class, but he noticed everything. He spent hours in the woods or by the riverbank as if seeking a space of his own. And whenever the local theater opened its doors, he'd quietly sit in the back row, gazing at the glowing screen like it was another world entirely. Sam's mother encouraged him to follow what he loved, but his father felt differently. Henry Elliott saw acting as an unstable, frivolous career and wanted his son to choose a more secure path, like military service or government work. Conversations about Sam's future often ended in silence, with neither willing to yield. The distance between them only grew wider. Then tragedy struck. At 18, with the arguments about career still unresolved, Sam's father died suddenly of a heart attack. That loss was more than the passing of a parent. It left a wound that never fully healed. Henry Elliott died, still believing his son was on the wrong path. Years later, Sam would admit that this became a burden he carried for life. Part motivation, part regret, and holy pain. Without his father, Sam left the University of Oregon, where he had been studying English and psychology to pursue acting. But he didn't storm into Hollywood in Bay. He moved with slow, deliberate steps, each one as if making a silent promise to the past to prove that he had been right and that the boyhood dream was worth fighting for to the very end. Early career. Stepping out from a household shaped by discipline and loss, Sam Elliott didn't arrive in Hollywood through any red carpet welcome. He came with the calloused hands of a construction worker. By day, he poured concrete and set up scaffolding. By night, he quietly attended acting classes, patiently learning how to control that deep, warm voice and sharpen the intensity of his gaze. The very qualities that would later become his unmistakable trademarks. His first opportunity came in the late 1960s. Sam landed a role so small, it was nearly invisible in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, 1969, credited only as card player. Number 2. Sitting at a poker table without a single line of dialogue. But to him, it was a precious moment to observe Paul Newman, Robert Redford, and the entire crew silently studying how real stars moved, spoke, and worked in front of the camera. He didn't walk away from that scene to the sound of applause, but he carried with him an invisible notebook full of lessons. Throughout the 1970s, Sam worked tirelessly in guest and supporting roles on shows like Mission Impossible, Gunsmoke, Lancer, Hawaii Five-0. They didn't make him famous, but they earned him a quiet reputation. A disciplined actor who always showed up early, always knew his lines perfectly, and always maintained a calm, professional presence. His first significant breakthrough came with the TV movie I Will Fight No More Forever, 1975, where he played Charles Wood, and more notably with Lifeguard, 1976, in which he starred as Rick Carlson, a beach lifeguard torn between personal freedom and societal expectations. Though the film wasn't a blockbuster, his performance caught the attention of critics. A man who didn't need many words, yet could make audiences feel every emotion through a single look. From the very beginning, Sam chose a path few dared to follow. He grew a thick mustache, kept his hair long, and refused the slick hairstyles and heartthrob image of the time. That cost him many romantic leading roles. But it opened up a different domain: cowboys, soldiers, silent men of quiet strength and endurance. Roles that no one embodied better than Sam Elliott. Those slow, deliberate steps didn't bring instant fame, but they laid the foundation for a career that would span over half a century, where every role bore his personal imprint and could never be mistaken for anyone else's success career. After years of perseverance in supporting roles and television projects, Sam Elliott finally found his breakthrough moment in Mask, 1985. In the film, he played Gar, the life partner and emotional anchor of Rusty Dennis, portrayed by Cher, and the loving stepfather of Rocky, a boy with a rare craniofacial condition. It wasn't just a turning point in his career, it was a true acting challenge. Elliott had to shed his familiar cowboy image to embody a real-world man. Warm, nuanced, yet no less strong. Behind the scenes, Elliott was known for maintaining emotional connection with his co-stars, even off-camera, especially with child actor Eric Stoltz, in order to build a natural father-son dynamic on screen. Mask became a major success and revealed to critics a different Sam Elliott, an actor with profound emotional depth, not just a face of the American West. From that point forward, Elliott's career path widened, but he never chased leading roles or easy projects. He remained highly selective, always searching for characters with weight and dimension. In 1989, Roadhouse brought him back to the rugged masculine archetype, this time as Wade Garrett, mentor to Dalton, played by Patrick Swayze. At a time when Hollywood favored muscle-bound action, Elliott chose a performance anchored in calm and lived experience, a deliberate contrast to the hot-headed energy of the main character. It was an artistic choice that paid off, making him the emotional counterbalance of the entire film. The 1990s marked a series of Western and historical roles that cemented Elliott's reputation. Conager, 1991, adapted from a Louis L'Amour novel, was a standout. Elliott both produced and starred in the film. His portrayal of Conager earned him Emmy and Golden Globe nominations, but more importantly, solidified in the public eye that he was the real cowboy of television. That same year, he appeared in two historical epics, Gettysburg, 1993, and Tombstone, 1993, playing General John Buford and Virgil Earp, respectively. Both roles demanded rigorous study of the era, speech patterns, and military posture. Elliott spent weeks practicing his voice, perfecting his stance, even riding horses, and handling weapons himself to bring authenticity to the screen. In 1995, Buffalo Girls gave him another opportunity to embody a Western icon, Wild Bill Hickok, once again earning him both Emmy and Golden Globe nominations. But perhaps his most enduring cultural impression came from a role so small it was nearly a cameo. The Stranger in The Big Lebowski, 1998. Despite appearing in only a few scenes, the mysterious narrator with a deep, warm voice. Meanwhile, Ross's life was undergoing its own upheaval. Her marriage to Conrad Hall was romantic and intellectually rich, filled with late-night conversations about cinema and shared creative journeys. But their demanding careers began to plant seeds of disconnection. Hall was often away for months, filming on distant locations, while Ross kept taking on new projects. The physical distance soon translated into emotional detachment. Both were passionate about their work, often placing it above family needs. Rumors of Hall's closeness with female colleagues surfaced in the entertainment columns. Not proven, but damaging enough to deepen Ross's insecurities. Their relationship grew tense with mounting arguments about time, priorities, and commitment. By 1973, realizing they could no longer sustain a fulfilling marriage, they divorced. Ross continued to respect Hall professionally, but later described the marriage as beautiful on the surface, but hollowing out from within. Not long after, Ross entered a new relationship with Gaetano Tom Lay, a hairstylist and stage artist she met during a photo shoot. Unlike Hall, who carried the air of an international filmmaker, Lee offered simplicity, emotional attentiveness, and a slower-paced lifestyle. His gentle demeanor and ability to listen gave Ross a sense of calm after years of career-driven tension. They married in 1974, and for a few years, Ross seemed to have found a rare quiet space within the Hollywood whirlwind. But that peace was short-lived. As Ross returned to major film projects, their differences grew. Lee struggled to adjust to the elite creative circles Ross belonged to. He felt out of place at industry events, while Ross began to feel emotionally unfulfilled by his lack of artistic empathy. Disagreements over finances, living arrangements, and the decision to have children added to the strain. Rumors suggested that Lee discouraged Ross from continuing her career, wanting her to retreat from the spotlight to focus on domestic life, something Ross, fiercely independent and passionate about acting, could never accept. By the late 1970s, they were living largely separate lives despite still being legally married. Their 1979 divorce was quiet on paper, but industry insiders knew it had been a slow, burning conflict. For Ross, it marked a turning point. She realized she could not be truly happy with someone who didn't understand or share the emotional toll of her profession. And only after this realization was she ready to open her heart when fate brought Sam Elliott back into her life. No longer just a silent admirer, but a mature, grounded partner capable of walking beside her. After her divorce from Lee, Ross didn't immediately rush into another relationship. She entered a phase of self-realignment, focusing on her work and reclaiming balance after years of marital turbulence. It was during this quieter period that fate finally aligned her path with Elliott's. In 1978, the two were cast in The Legacy, and this time the stars truly aligned. Ross, having endured 4 failed marriages, was finally untethered. Elliott had grown in career and character. Their bond began in quiet conversations after filming, where they discovered shared values and emotional compatibility. The love blossomed slowly but deeply, with enough patience to withstand long-distance shoots and the demands of 2 careers. In 1984, they married in a private ceremony far from media attention. It was Elliott's first marriage, but Ross's 5th. That same year, they welcomed their daughter, Cleo Rose Elliott. Unlike her parents, Cleo pursued music, embracing a bold rock style and a free-spirited lifestyle. However, the relationship between Cleo and her mother went through a deeply troubled phase, culminating in a shocking incident in 2011. According to court documents filed by Ross, Cleo had become increasingly volatile, often verbally abusive and threatening. On the day of the incident, she blocked her mother from leaving the house, kicked a door, and suddenly stabbed Ross in the hand with scissors. Though the wound wasn't life-threatening, Ross felt her safety was at serious risk and immediately filed for a temporary restraining order. The case exploded in the media, clashing dramatically with the public's image of the Elliots as Hollywood's quiet, happy family. Elliott, true to his composed and private nature, issued no public statement. He chose instead to protect his family, in silence, dealing with the crisis privately, rather than fueling public speculation. Eventually, Cleo apologized, and Ross withdrew the restraining order. Their relationship gradually improved, and Cleo has appeared at family events, though rarely in public. What's remarkable is that despite decades in Hollywood, Sam Elliott and Catherine Ross have never indulged in the extravagance of celebrity life. They chose to live quietly between California and Oregon, close to nature and far from the industry's noise. Elliott once said the secret to their marriage wasn't perfect love, but the decision to stay, even through the hardest times. To him, love isn't just emotion, but commitment to live together, to endure together, and to protect what matters most from the chaos of life. That quiet devotion has made Sam Elliott not only an iconic figure on screen, but also a model of loyalty. A man who knew how to preserve the most precious things from being lost in the glitz and noise of Hollywood, controversies and rumors. Although widely known as a calm and composed figure, Sam Elliott has not been immune to controversy, turbulence, and rumors that at times threatened to shake the steady image he had built over decades. In a candid interview, Elliott once revealed that he had experienced casting couch encounters, the dark side of Hollywood, where powerful figures, both men and women, implied roles could be exchanged for sexual favors. For Elliott, that was a line that could not be crossed. He refused every such proposition, even if it meant losing opportunities or slowing his career, because his personal code would not allow him to trade dignity for fame. When the Me Too movement gained momentum, Elliott voiced his support, saying, he understood what many of his peers had endured and emphasized that the long-standing silence in the industry needed to be broken. However, Elliott himself was at the center of a heated controversy in early 2022. During an appearance on a podcast, he criticized director Jane Campion's The Power of the Dog, a critically acclaimed Oscar-nominated film. Elliott argued that the film didn't feel like a real Western, and remarked that some elements carried homosexual overtones he felt were inconsistent with the traditional Western setting. His comments triggered immediate backlash, with many accusing him of being anti-LGBTQ+. Recognizing the harm caused by his words, Elliott publicly apologized not only to the filmmakers and director Jane Campion, but also directly to the LGBTQ+ community. He admitted his remarks were thoughtless and unfair, and reaffirmed his respect for all individuals, regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity. Just a year later, Elliott unexpectedly became the subject of a false death rumor. In mid-2023, social media, particularly YouTube, was flooded with sensationalist videos claiming he had died at age 79. The fake news spread rapidly through clickbait headlines, black and white photos, and rest in peace messages, prompting widespread confusion and outpourings of condolences from fans across platforms. Yet Elliott made no effort to publicly debunk the hoax. He chose silence, letting time and his work speak for themselves. Not long afterward, he reappeared, on screen in Landman, a new series by Taylor Sheridan, subtly asserting that the rumor was nothing more than a passing breeze, unworthy of a response. Hollywood is no stranger to storms, but Sam Elliott has never allowed himself to be swept away. He stays true to his principles, owns his missteps when necessary, and remains silent in the face of noise. With every return to the screen, he offers a quiet but firm reminder. Sam Elliott is still here, steady and intact, legacy and influence. Sam Elliott has not only delivered dozens of memorable performances, but has also defined a distinct archetype in American cinematic history. The Western man who embodies a blend of quiet strength, unwavering honesty, and silent loneliness. In a Hollywood often driven by trends, Elliott chose a slower, more enduring path, remaining loyal to characters with depth and human value. His image, the silver mustache, upright posture, gravelly baritone, has become a cultural imprint. Just hearing Elliott's narration in ads for Ram trucks or Coors Banquet instantly conjures up visions of wide open prairies, dusty highways, and the unyielding spirit of the American West. That voice doesn't merely sell products. It stirs memory and emotion, evoking an era and embedding itself in the American cultural subconscious. Elliott's influence is also evident in how he inspires younger generations of actors. On set, he is known for his professionalism, meticulous preparation, and deep respect for everyone from directors to the crew. Many colleagues have said that simply watching Elliott work is a masterclass in professional integrity. His characters, from Gar in Mask, Wade Garrett in Roadhouse, the stranger in The Big Lebowski, to Bobby Maine in A Star is Born, all carry a kind of quiet weight. Few words, but haunting presence. It's precisely this restrained, unshowy style that allows his roles to resonate deeply with audiences and endure through time. Even as Hollywood has shifted and public tastes evolved, Elliott has remained true to his style, principles, and inner honesty. That constancy has made him a living icon, not just of the Western genre, but of a broader spirit. One that believes in creating lasting value through craft rather than chasing fleeting glory. And perhaps Sam Elliott's greatest legacy is the belief that in a loud and chaotic world,